I always expected Barca Atalanta to be a very good, energetic game because, quite frankly, Atalanta is one of the very few Italian teams who actually plays a sport with a positive attacking outlook on it. Not like other Italian teams who just want to sit back and defend forever and ever. Like, I mean, ever and ever. Every game, 90 minutes, pure defending. Atalanta has a positive outlook on football. And at moments, it was pretty energetic, but there was also a lot of moments where it was cagey or just boring. And I think that was a lot of that was due to Barcelona's lack of high level, I guess, to so to say today. I think there's a few talking points from this game. I think Barca's defense is certainly one of them. Lewandowski is 1000% another one of them. And I think overall we can say that it was a pretty fair scoreline for the way the game went 2-2. I didn't expect Barca to have this game easy. Atalanta is a really good team. I like Gasperini. I like this team. I like their midfield. I like their creators and I like their attackers. I like a lot of things about this team, and they gave Barca a run for their money. And Barca now, once again, they go into a game where they're not at the highest level, and this shows the lack of consistency because they just won 7-1. Whether it was Valencia or not, it was still a 7-1 win a couple of days ago. And I know there was some rotations, but overall, the questions I have for the lineup for Hansi Flick were, why did Lewandowski start over Ferran? Because Ferran, not only has Ferran been very good recently, but Lewandowski's also been very poor recently. That's my first question. And secondly, why did Fermin get benched? Because when you have a player like Fermin, who last season was great, this season has been pretty poor overall, and then you have a game like he did versus Valencia, where he had an unbelievable game. You want to continue that run of form. You want to build on that. You don't want to You don't want to just subdue it. You don't want to just completely sink it. Then you want to build momentum from that. So it was pretty interesting to see that those two players didn't start, but nonetheless, it wasn't that big of a deal. You see the starting lineup. It doesn't really matter until what actually happens in the game. And Barca, for not just a large part of the first part of that first half, but in general, in moments of the game, they were suspect to the Atalanta press. I mean, Atalanta was a very good pressing team, and Barca failed to get out of that because simply they do not have the highest technical ability players. Koundé, for example, as a right back, he's doing very well as a right back, but he's not the highest technical player ever when it comes to right back. I mean, when you think of the high technical ability right backs in the world, you think of Trent, you think of Hakimi. These are high technical ability right backs. Koundé is more of a good fill-in rather than a great player on the ball. Although it wasn't, just Koundé. I'm giving an example here. I think the fact that Pedri was sick over the weekend, clearly he wasn't at his best today, but still, you could see that he is very important to this team because when Pedri doesn't control the whole pitch, nobody does. De Jong was bang average. Gavi did decent, but nothing special. And Barca's midfielder overall, you could tell Pedri's importance because there was no domination. They failed to get out of the pressure. You had the defense of Barcelona constantly lose balls and fail to build up to the pitch. I mean, the first half, I don't even remember. I mean, like, or when Barca entered the attacking half. I mean, it was very few times. Atalanta did really well. Ederson, De Bruyne, and Pasalic did very well to hold Barca back, and it was just Yamal and Rafinha who were really making stuff happen out wide because Atalanta's fullbacks will push up. Belanova is good at pushing up. Zavacosta plays high up, and obviously they're left with three center backs. But Barcelona in the middle of the pitch lacked. And I think a large part of that is Lewandowski. Because let's take a look at Barca historically. We see here, Barcelona have always had at least three midfielders, which is over here Gavi, Pedri, De Jong, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi. But Barca's striker has always been a striker that has the ability to come deep, link up the play, be involved, be an option, and bring the ball up. Barcelona has always played with a focal point, a strong focal point, whether it was Messi as false nine, whether it was strikers like Eto'o, Suarez, players, for example, Suarez. Suarez is a very good striker at dropping deep, creating, holding up the play, getting past players, good first touch, good passing. He's essentially another midfielder that's playing as a striker because he has good finishing. That's essentially what it was. And so this was the case with Barcelona. Lewandowski cannot do this. Lewandowski is too old to do this. Lewandowski in general, throughout his career, he's been a great striker, a great player, but he was never the greatest technically advanced player. He wasn't the best all-round striker. But now that he's 37 years old, he's definitely not that. You can see it. He has no mobility. He has no speed on the ball. I mean, he's a liability in possession. There was moments in the first half. There was a specific moment. If you go to the 13th or 14th minute of that first half, you could see that Lewandowski received the ball in the 18-yard box of the opponents, and it literally took him so long, and I mean so long, to make a decision as to what to do with the ball. I mean, he took a touch and he didn't know where to go. He didn't know where to take the touch to actually give him a chance to do something and take a shot. And by the time he decided to do anything, which was never, the defender, I think it was Jim Shiti of Atalanta over here, the Albanian guy, he just clobbered him. I mean, Lewandowski lost the ball before he even knew where he was, and this is why Barca needs Isak. I think Barca need to sign Rafael Leao as well, but Barcelona is in much more dire need of a striker rather than a left winger. And Isak is one of the very few modern day self-sufficient strikers because he's not a robot. You have players like Haaland, complete robot. I mean, this sport is watched. It's just robotic. I mean, it's a completely robotic sport, and you have a striker like Isak who has the ability to drop deep, who has the ability to have a very good first touch, doesn't rely on transitions in open space. He knows how to dribble. He knows how to get open. He knows how to finish. He knows how to pass. He knows what he's doing, essentially. He's a real footballer. And Barcelona need to break the bank for him ASAP. They need to get it done because Lewandowski, although he does well in some moments of the season, he cannot continue it like this consistently in Europe at the highest level for the whole season. And Barcelona need a striker who will start and do that for them for a long time, for the coming years, for the coming decade. Alexander Isak is that guy. Break the bank for him. The defense overall for Barcelona was pretty shaky. I mean, the offside trap was poor. The defending overall, when they were getting into situations with Atalanta pinning them back, was poor. I mean, the first goal they conceded from Retegui when he was offside, it was very poor from Koundé. The goal that they conceded from Ederson in the first half, I mean, Ederson did very well there, but it was poor defending from Gavi. Nobody closed him down fast enough after he got past Gavi. It was just overall poor. It wasn't focused. It wasn't, on top of the ball a lot. It was more like, let's see what he does, and then if he takes a shot, we'll try to block it at that point, or maybe he'll miss. That's really what it was. It was more like banking on odds rather than making stuff happen at the back. Balde was good. I don't know why I got a low rating here at a 6.5. I think Balde was good. He was good. He was one of the few. Well, he was the only defender and consistently the only defender for Barcelona who drives the ball up, because Koundé is not going to be the one that drives the ball up. He'll give the ball to Yamal and overlap, but he's not going to drive the ball up. So Balde did well. Chelsea did well overall, but he also could do better in some situations. He could pick up the ball rather than punching it out. He could do better for some saves. I mean, that second goal that Atalanta scored, he could have done better there. It went under his legs, it was one of those things. But overall, it was a shaky defensive performance from Barcelona overall, including the midfield. It was once again Rafinha and Yamal performing well. I mean, Rafinha and him complement each other well, because Rafinha is more of an inside forward with a lot of pace and power. Yamal is more of an outside winger with a lot of technical ability. That's what you need in the modern game. If you take a look at the stats here, I mean, Barca had more chances. Lewandowski should have scored that one chance, and this is what I'm talking about. Everyone knows what I'm talking about here with that one chance. That's what I'm calling it. He passed to Rafinha. He received the ball, and when he received the ball, it was just so amateur. He did not know where the ball even was. It was just such a poor touch that ended up behind him. He had to fight with the defender then to get it in front of him. Once he did that, the touch was too heavy. It took him outside. He fell. He tried hitting it, but it went out of the outside of the goal. It went like on the wrong side of the post, and it was just amateur. And the problem with him is that he could be very good in some games. For example, that Classico Super Cup final, he could be very good in games that are very open. But when there's teams that press him well, it's just not gonna happen. And that's how it is in the sport. It's a high pressure, high pressurized environment. The sport, especially the Champions League, you need to have a player, especially as your focal point, who can get the job done and who could get the job done at a higher level and provide the team with things that they need and supplement their play style. I mean, there's nothing much to talk about this game because it wasn't a game that Barca needed to win. I mean, they drew here and they're still second place. Obviously, if they won, it would have been better because Liverpool lost, and having Barca as a first place team in the new format of the Champions League would have been a cool thing to have for the legacy or the reputation or whatever you want to call it. But overall, it was a interesting game to say the least. I think Atalanta are a team that I really like them. I like smaller teams. Atalanta's not a giant by any stretch of the imagination, but I like smaller teams who play attacking. I don't. I have respect for them because they don't just sacrifice their moral fiber and sacrifice the most positive way the sport is played, attacking wise, for just defending just to try to get points. They know what they're doing. They have a plan. They're attacking. An attacking team, and it works for them. And I think it was fair. It was fair play. It was a decent game to watch. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I think Barcelona overall they need to become more consistent, and they need to sign Alexander Isak. I mean, I'm not gonna say they need to sign a striker. They need specifically Isak because this is the answer long term. Yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.